As we gather at this important forum to review our collective progress on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, it's clear the international community has much to do if we're to realise the ambition of sustainable and resilient recovery from COVID-19. We've seen unprecedented disruptions to people, health systems and economies in every corner of the world. Much of the progress made on the Sustainable Development Goals has been regrettably set back. We must work together as a global community to recover. This pandemic has shown just how important the United Nations is in supporting international cooperation to address global challenges. Australia continues to work to ensure multilateral institutions are fit for purpose, effective, transparent and accountable to member states. This includes progressing WHO reform and strengthening the global health architecture so we're ready to face any future pandemics. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Australia has transformed its development program. We're focused on supporting health security, stability, economic recovery and protecting the most vulnerable. We've committed $623.2 million to assist countries in the Pacific and Southeast Asia access COVID-19 vaccines, and we're sharing Australian manufactured vaccines across the Indo-Pacific. Australia has also invested $130 million into the COVAX facility's advanced market commitment to help distribute vaccines to the disadvantaged across the globe. And last month at the G7 summit, Australia committed an extra 20 million doses for people in the Pacific and Southeast Asian region by mid-2022. Pacific small island developing states have been hit particularly hard with widespread unemployment, supply chain disruptions and food insecurity. Australia is providing an extra $300 million to support Pacific Island countries and Timor-Leste to address the economic impacts of the pandemic. And we've pledged $1.5 billion in climate finance over 2020 to 25, including $500 million to build climate change and disaster resilience in the Pacific, which is essential for a sustainable COVID recovery. This pandemic has heightened global inequalities, including pre-existing gender imbalances, threatening to reverse many hard-won gains from the last 25 years in the Beijing Declaration Platform for Action. Millions of women and girls have lost access to essential sexual and reproductive health services with potential lifelong implications for their health and well-being. Australia doesn't want anyone to be left behind by this pandemic. Women's voices and leadership are central to the COVID response and recovery. We have integrated gender equality across our development program, contributing $1.3 billion to supporting gender equality this year. The pandemic is testing us all, but one thing it's clearly shown is that working together as a global community is vital. Australia is committed to working with our fellow member states and UN partner agencies to achieve a sustainable and resilient future.